There was once a war that no one seems to know about. It wasn't a war for territorial land. It was a war for world records. More specifically, roller coaster world records. The year was 1989, and it was a normal year for most. Not for roller coaster enthusiasts. 1989 was the start of something wonderful in the coaster industry. This is the roller coaster wars from start to finish. '89 was the beginning of something huge. The record-breaking roller coaster era has begun. It started with Magnum XL 200 in 1989, the best coaster in the world because of its 200 plus height and 70 mile/hour speed. This coaster started the battle for height and speed in every single coaster category. Viper, an Aero Mega Looper, also opened up this year. It would be the tallest and fastest looping coaster with 7 inversions. While it may not be loved by everyone, it definitely proved that looping coasters could be bigger and better. It paved the way for today's coasters like Cannonball and Steel Curtain. Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas would also open this year. It opened as the tallest swirling coaster, standing at 143 feet tall, which was insane for the early 90s. Wooden coasters then were mainly out and back coasters with short airtime hills, but Texas Giant ditched the out and back layout for a twister layout. Instead of airtime hills, the ride had massive turns. This ride closed in 2009 due to the roughness. 1991 was another huge year, with 3 coasters opening up. The world's longest roller coaster at the time, the Ultimate, opened. This 6-minute long, jerky coaster beat the Beast in the category for length. The ride is also the longest coaster in Europe. Mean Streak opened up as the tallest and fastest wooden coaster, very similar to Texas Giant. Mean Streak stood at 161 feet, which was massive at the time. Also, Steel Phantom, now known as Phantom's Revenge, opened to the public. The ride was a looping coaster built by Aero. It was the steepest and fastest roller coaster in the entire world, as it dove down a ravine to build up all of its speed. 1992 wasn't as big of a year. Only 2 coasters worth mentioning opened. One was the Rattler, a Six Flags Fiesta Texas wooden coaster. It opened as the tallest and fastest wooden coaster. Its drop went down the side of a quarry, causing it to have a ton of speed. This ride is now known as Iron Rattler. Also, a revolutionary coaster opened to the public. Batman, the Ride, the first inverted coaster, opened at Six Flags Great America. This roller coaster spawned many clones and also spawned many epic inverts to open across the globe. This new type of roller coaster, not to be confused with a suspended coaster, is one of the greatest coaster models ever. It proved that an inverted coaster could have inversions. Now, the record-breaking coasters are becoming more rare, so we'll have to skip a few years. In 1994, Raptor, the tallest and longest and fastest inverted roller coaster, opened to the public. This 57 mile/hour intensity machine had the first ever Cobra roll on the invert. In 1996, Mantis opened. This would be the tallest, fastest, and longest stand-up coaster, which opened at Cedar Point. The same year, Montu, the tallest and fastest invert, opened. Montu is widely considered to be the best inverted coaster. Fujiyama also opened as the tallest coaster, and High Roller in Las Vegas opened as the highest coaster. This coaster simply did a helix on top of the Stratosphere Hotel in Las Vegas. The ride would not stay open for very long. 1997 summoned the Free Fall coaster. Intamin made this the tallest coaster in the world, standing over 400 feet, but it was not a full circuit. These 2 coasters were Superman Escape from Krypton and Tower of Terror 2. 1998 summoned Riddler's Revenge, a ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It is the tallest, longest, and fastest stand-up coaster. This year also spawned Volcano the Blast coaster, the first ever launched inverted coaster. Now, we will get back into the massive years. At the turn of the millennium, 3 crazy coasters opened to the public. One was Son of Beast, the world's tallest and fastest wooden coaster. At over 200 feet and 70 miles/hour, the ride was a complete fail. It had structural issues, and its best element, the vertical loop, was removed due to different trains. The ride just closed 9 years later.
At the turn of the millennium, there were signs.
Millennium Force. Millennium Force opened as the tallest and fastest and steepest full-circuit roller coaster in the world. It opened as the world's first Giga roller coaster. These records are about to be insane, especially Intamin's world records. Millennium Force wouldn't last for long because the same year Steel Dragon 2000 opened. This is the tallest, fastest, and longest full-circuit coaster in the world. This Morgan Hyper would beat Millennium Force in these categories. 2001 and the years following will be the years of the launch coaster. Dorodompa opened in 2001 as the fastest roller coaster with the fastest acceleration. The ride reaches speeds of 112 miles per hour in just 1.6 seconds. That is incredible. The following year, Colossus opened. This Intamin opened with the most inversions in the world, with 10. It has mixed opinions from riders, but it paved the way for rides like Smiler. X2 opened as the world's first 4D coaster. This is a brand new model that has really caught on in recent years. X2 was unfortunately Aerodynamics' last roller coaster. Wicked Twister, an Intamin Impulse, is the world's tallest and fastest invert. It opened at Cedar Point in 2002. Accelerator, an Intamin Accelerator, opened to the public. This hydraulic launch coaster was one of the most important coasters. Without Accelerator, we wouldn't have rides like Storm Runner or Top Thrill Dragster, a coaster that opened in 2003. Top Thrill Dragster was the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world, with its 120 mile per hour launch and 420 foot tall top hat. It was the first ever Stratocoaster. 2005, Intamin would outdo themselves once again with Kingda Ka, another Stratocoaster, just 36 feet taller than Dragster. It is still the tallest coaster in the world. Finally, the coaster that ended the wars opened in 2007, Maverick. Let me explain why I think Maverick ended the wars. Most people think Kingda Ka ended the wars because of the height had reached its limit. I think Maverick ended it because it proved that coasters did not need to be tall or fast to be great. Maverick is often considered the best ride in the park and is only 105 feet tall. It's because of its crazy transitions and airtime moments it's one of the best. Coasters don't need to be tall or fast to be good. Maverick was the beginning for new coasters. Coasters better than ever. RMC, Vekoma, Premier, B&M, Intamin, all of these manufacturers would take notes on Maverick. The Coaster Wars were a great time period to be alive. It was a battle for records, a battle that would never be forgotten. The best models, the most innovative coasters, and some of the best were built during this time. In fact, we wouldn't have the coasters we have today if it weren't for the Coaster Wars. I hope you learned something new here. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see everyone next time.